let's message Carol, make sure that's okay. Yep, we just started. Welcome, Cougar Wolf Comedy. People, thank you so much for tuning in for our next installment of Virtually Funny stand-up show. We have a really fun show lined up for you guys. And then we have our awesome audience members here this side. We have Jessica, Mario, Jessica and Aaron, and then Annalise. All right, yeah, so they're going to be with us for the whole show, just enjoying the comedy as we go and being, just part of the show. It should be super fun. And thank you guys all for tuning in. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. And throughout the show, actually, you will see a virtual tip jar that will pop up at the bottom. So you're welcome to donate to that to help us, put on future shows and pay comedians that participate in this and help us comedians that can't go out into public spaces right now and earn our living. So we're super excited that we can adapt to this. It's kind of funny. I mean, the funniest part, it's really about this is that I've gotten a lot of people talk to me and they're like, "Oh man, you're Derek, you're kind of calm for everything that's going on, the whole pandemic stuff." And I'm just kind of like, well, I mean, my life has kind of been falling apart for about 3 years now. So it's more welcome to my kind of lifestyle, really. That's about it's as long as there's a tomorrow, I'm okay with it. It's been weird though. It's been weird adjusting, especially as a comedian, adjusting to these new types of ways of performing and stuff. I mean, it was funny, but a lot of the times before I'd get a lot of weird questions about doing stand-up, have you made it yet? Are you famous? And it's that's not really how comedy works. You don't just cross this line and you're famous. What I do know I've made it to is the point where I've said way too many horrible things publicly to get a normal job. So it's this or homelessness, really. That's really the option. That's where I've gotten myself to. That's the line I've crossed, and I'm okay with it, really. I think I've always wanted to have a life like this, but man, it's interesting though. I mean, getting older and stuff, and things get a lot more serious. I think the weirdest part about your friends and stuff when you grow up is their behaviors change, right? My buddy, right before the quarantine, he came up to me and he's like, "Man, I can't gamble anymore, bro." He's like, "Last night I lost $500 on crap. I just can't do it anymore." And I was like, "Man, $500? Man, that's child's play. $500." I was like, "Man, listen to this. One time in college, I lost 40 grand on a communication degree." I mean, if you're not gambling with your career, that's just really a budget. Yeah, this is so weird. It's so weird to coming back and trying to do work after a couple months, about almost 3 months of not doing stand-up and trying to do this. You guys are gonna feel that later, so don't worry. You guys will get it. You'll be holding a whisk in front of you. Your accounting job. I've been drinking a lot more. Are you guys drinking tonight? Are you guys?
Woo! Yeah.
Yeah. What are you guys drinking? Yeah, audience. What do you guys got? I got the White Claws.
I have some wine.
Wine.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. I know. I've been drinking way too much lately. I don't know if you guys have the same issue. It's way too easy to drink way too much now. I mean, I remember when I was talking to my buddy on the phone, he was like, "Yeah, I love tequila." And he's like, "I've never had a bad experience on tequila." And I was like, "What? You don't love tequila if you've never had a bad experience with tequila." You don't love tequila unless you throw a painting off a third-story balcony. That's how you know they love it. I am trying to be healthier though. I'm trying to be, I'm trying to, cut down drinking by smoking weed and stuff. And it's people do it. I mean, it helps. It really does. I actually went online and saw an article, and the headline of it said, "Smoking weed freezes cancer cells." And I was like, yes, they proved that shit, man. They finally proved it. They finally proved that weed is so powerful that it even makes cancer lazy. Great time to be alive. And it's weird. I don't smoke. I can't smoke too much weed. I just get, just way too stoned. I just get, but like, I remember the other day I was super stoned just watching the show Mad Men on Netflix. And I remember just watching the show, just blitzed out of my mind. And like, I was looking at the characters. And I remember being like, man, all these people have jobs. And I'm going to have to get a job one day. And that will define me as a human being for the rest of my life. And then I was like, wait, what the fuck? That's not what weed's supposed to make you think about. Weed's supposed to make you think things like, man, like job's just like 3 letters smushed together. Like that's pretty sure it was a bad batch of weed. I think that's really what the biggest problem. Oh man. Yeah, I guess I'll tell this one. All right, this will be my last one. But we have been spending, everyone's spending a lot more time with themselves and stuff. And guys, like we do love to climax. I guess that's a good word for it. I've heard of guys even going to lengths of like trying to suck their own penises, which is, crazy. I would never do it. I would never do it because, I'm concerned that I would finish in my own mouth. That's really my biggest problem because I know who I am. And I know my strengths and I know I'll get caught up in the moment. And second off, it's really hard to warn yourself you're about to come when there's a dick in your mouth. So that's just biology. So I'm glad that still sort of works on digital. So that's great. But yeah, I had to do that one. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. It's gonna be a super fun show. We have some amazing comedians coming up. I hope you guys are ready for the next one. Are you guys excited?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Please give it up for the amazing Ashley Gooderman.
Oh, all right. Thank you so much for letting me into your homes. They look beautiful. I just want to say, Derek asked you all what you were drinking. Some of you have wine. That's classy. Derek's knee deep in a claw. But we've been locked down for like a month, right? You guys still have alcohol left? Come on, amateurs. Mine, 3 days gone. Oh God. Oh man. I considered doing this without pants and it seems like it would have worked, right? I think it would work. We'd have to charge more though. Next one we'll charge more upfront. Let's get right into it. How many of you, hands up, took a shower today? That's not enough hands. It's not enough. Some of you probably live with people. Do it for your partners. Come on. And if you don't live with somebody, you probably have a lot of cats. Cats can really smell. They have better noses. Come on. Come on. All right. I live in Seattle now, but I grew up in Pittsburgh. And if you're born in Pittsburgh and you don't like the Steelers, they don't let you live there. So I don't. Go Seahawks, right? No, I don't mind Pittsburgh. The longer you're away from it, the more you miss it. I knew that I was missing Pittsburgh too much when I started drinking Yingling again. That's how you know. For breakfast. That's when it's a problem. That's how they got all those Super Bowl rings. They just wake up 4 Wheaties and then nice little Yingling on top. That's how you do it. Seattle is so far away from Pittsburgh that they consider Yingling to be an import. Pittsburghers have really strong accents, but it's not a different country, guys. Stop charging me double. So grew up in Pittsburgh, and both my parents had the same job. Both my parents were helicopter mechanics. Pretty weird. Some people complain, I've heard people complain anyway, that they had helicopter parents. And I've never understood it. I've never gotten it. What are you going to complain about? My whole childhood was just free rides in helicopters. Why would you be upset? I don't know. Both my parents are mechanical, so they can fix things. They like to fix things. I am more verbal. I prefer to tell people to fix things. That works out better for me. Just break it. There you go. My parents worked in the same aircraft hangar, so same job, same place. And after a little while of working together, my dad beat my mom out for a promotion. Yeah. If you want to make things awkward at home, be your wife's boss. That dynamic changes as soon as you make it home. Not good. And he was actually what's called a quality assurance inspector. So he had to inspect the quality of my mom's work. So yeah, it's exactly what you're thinking. They are divorced. Oh, and I just thought this. I don't want to say it. I'm going to say it. You're all my friends. I'm going to say it. How did they have sex without human resources getting involved? How did they do that? I don't know. Did they have to like fill out a sheet and then hand it in? The HR department calls and goes, "Hey, we got the form. We're looking at Tuesday here. Did you do that because he's your boss, or just because you're married?" We checked the files. It's not his birthday. Doesn't make any sense. So because my mom was a helicopter mechanic, I grew up believing that women could accomplish anything, especially if they are covered in grease. That's all it takes. That's all I took from that. A lot of people in my family like to hoard. We got hoarders in my family. They call it prepping. I call it hoarding. It's not prepping if it's 6 broken lawnmowers. That's hoarding. I had an aunt that she kept the same turkey in her freezer for 20 years. Yeah, long time. Yeah. We were really sad when she passed away, obviously. But you know, free turkey. You got to look on the bright side. She was really thoughtful, though. She died around Thanksgiving. Super thoughtful. Despite all that hoarding, my aunt, she refused to give birthday cards. So she would give you a gift, but then she would give you $2 like next to it, just to really stick it to Hallmark. You know? The most evil of all the companies. And I thought that was brilliant, right? I thought it was brilliant. Until she passed away, we went to clean out her house. 400 birthday cards. Come on. You're not saying anything there. Come on. I guess she just wanted to keep them. I have a lot of experience with hoarders, right? It's because most of my family does it. And Hoarders won't usually let you into their house. They almost always come to you. And if you do go to their house, they'll only talk to you through like the little latch on the door. Like that. You coming in here to steal my beans? And if you do go to their house to check on them, you know they're a hoarder because they have 27 little locks that they have to undo. Just to get us, you get to the top, you go, you're not taking my beans. Hoarding is mostly bean based. It's true. Truthfully, though, people that hoard are hopeful. They are hopeful because they hope that one day all of their stuff ends up on the Antiques Roadshow. But the truth is, nobody has ever paid $1 million for 3 Teddy Ruxpins and a signed poster of John Bon Jovi. Nobody's ever done that. Might as well just put him up on the wall, kiss him at night. My dad used to hoard supplies when I was a kid, you know, like food, water, toilet paper. Well, I don't know. Look who's crazy now, right? Still him. Definitely still him. He mostly hoarded sourdough pretzels, Nesquik, this is true, and Twizzlers. You know what? Now that I say it out loud, it sounds like he just didn't want to share. I'm gonna have to call him. That was good stuff. So I'm married, and my husband. Oh, I'll just let that sit with you for a minute. My husband is 20 years older than I am. He's got sweatshirts older than me. Do you know how hard it is to be in a relationship where clothes have more seniority? I have to ask his ties for permission. It's not okay. It's not okay. I recommend being in a relationship with somebody older. Try it at least once in your life. Try it at least once. Marry somebody older. You might like it. As soon as I married my husband, my credit score went way up. In fact, because my husband is so much older, my credit history is actually 4 years older than I am. Nice. I'm not a gold digger. But I will dig my way out of debt. Oh, being married to an older man is wonderful. It's wonderful. I have never had to pry the Xbox controller out of my husband's hands. I did have to teach him what DTF meant, though. Now he says it all the time. That's because I told him it stands for do this first. It's really nice. I call him and I say, hey, do you want me to pick up the groceries or pick you up? Oh, I don't know. DTF. Well, okay. I'm a little tired. I mean, it's only 8 a.m., but okay. Okay. If you're going to marry an older man, you have to do it right. You got to do it right because your family will hate it. They will hate it. Your dad won't like it if your husband is older than him.
Yep.
You won't like it if your husband tries to give him parenting advice. Won't like it. Teach him about safe sex. Nope, won't like it. I don't like to say that my husband is my better half. I prefer, I don't like to say it. I don't like to say that my husband is my better half. I prefer to say that he fills my hole. You know? My husband is better than me in every way. He's better in every way. I am not a trophy wife. I'm the kind of wife you get just for participating. My husband is a really good dancer, but it's weird when we dance together. It's weird because people always think it's one of those father-daughter dances. Weird. People do assume that I'm my husband's daughter a lot. We do get that a lot, and that's pretty gross. Because I would never do the things I do with my husband with my dad. My dad and I don't have a mortgage. No. We'd never do that. He's got bad finances. We have a stepson. My husband just calls him son. People think that step-parents shouldn't try to parent the kids. I absolutely parent my stepson. Excuse me. You are going to live in my house and spend my husband's money. No, it's just like I tell him. It's like I tell him all the time. Look, if you want to live in my house, you got to follow my rules. Rule number 1, you can't live in my house. My husband and I have never been to counseling. We know what our problems are. We know what they are. My husband is gentle and non-confrontational, and I am perfect. Thank you so much. Thanks for coming. I hope you have a great night. Good luck. Stay safe. Yay!
Keep it going for Ashley Gooderman. Is Ashley still in the chat?
I'm still here. Can you hear me?
Cool. Have you seen Marrying Millions? Have you seen that show?
No. What is?
You should check it out. I just started watching it, and there's like a hilarious couple, like a 6-year-old guy trying to marry a 21-year-old chick, and it's like it's crazy. You definitely need to check it out. It's super funny.
Sounds like a documentary to me. Yeah, I'll check it out.
It's a reality show with like rich people marrying usually like younger poor people. It's great. It's
That's right up my alley.
Yeah, let me know what you think. All right, guys. We have an amazing rest of the show coming up. This ex-comedian, I love performing with him a lot. He's opened up for Jose Bolaños from Move 925. Please give it up for the amazing Sam Ellefson. You gotta unmute your mic, Sam. Oh, he doesn't know. We can't. Oh no!
Can you hear me now?
I can't hear you still. Oh, you can talk. Yeah, say something.
Say something.
Yeah, you got it.
We're good.
We're good. You did it.
Clap and be excited if you can hear me.
Woo!
The amazing Sam Ellefson, the technological genius.
That's right. 2 buttons. 2. Count them. When Ashley was talking about her family, I was like, absolutely. When the COVID thing happened, they're like, it's about damn time. We've been waiting for this. You can see me, you can take me in. I've been told. You're laughing before I've even made a joke about myself. It's not a joke. As you can see, I have resting douche face. Does that resonate? Okay, people agree. I've also been told that I kind of look like Vanilla Ice, but if he'd been a Christian rapper, does that? Vanilla Christ, if you will, does that? What do I do for you? I'm originally from Minnesota. I'm from Minnesota, and back in Minnesota, I used to be a bouncer. I was a bouncer out there. I was a bouncer. Okay, all right, you're laughing. I was a bouncer. I was a bouncer. It was at our church potlucks. So. But I did it. They said that they told us we were greeters, but I knew what they meant. I knew. I'm from Minnesota, which means that I've played sorry with people who meant it. So. And the thing is, people in Washington, it's been really nice here these last few days, and even when it's raining, people will be like, how can you live in Minnesota where it's so cold all the time and be happy? Here's the thing, okay? We're surrounded by North Dakota, South Dakota, Iowa, and Wisconsin. If we look in any direction, no place is any better. That's how we survive. That's how we survive. And growing up, I had an older brother, and we shared a room. We had bunk beds, but he always slept in the top bunk because he was the older brother. You don't get to sleep in the top bunk when you wet the bed every single night. Wetting the bed, I think, is a terrible thing to happen while sleeping. Like when you have a nightmare, once you wake up, it's over. When you wet the bed and you wake up, it has only just begun. I one morning woke up. I've had a lot of gross things happen while sleeping. A lot of them. One morning I woke up. I had vomit on my face. And then my brother wakes up and goes, oh, I don't feel so good. From the top bunk. My brother, my kid, had leaned over, thrown up onto my face, and then he just went back to sleep. And I didn't even wake up. And a vomit hitting your face to wake you up. If vomit hitting your face doesn't wake you up, what will? Not the sensation to pee. So I went to bed for 15 years. I did 15 years. I am 23 years old. I have wet the bed for more years of my life than I have not wet the bed at this point. And that's going to be true for 8 more years. One Christmas, my grandma would give us these jokey, teasing, stocky stuffers. And one year when I was 13, in front of my entire extended family, my grandmother gave me a pair of her reusable adult diapers. With a note that said, I hear you could use these more than me. And the worst part was that the whole thing was in cursive, so my mom had to read it to me. And then she decided that it was a good idea. So because I couldn't read cursive, I had to wear adult diapers for a couple of years. I wore adult diapers for adult diapers. They weren't all bad, though. The adult diapers, like, we'd be out to eat, and my mom would be like, Sam, you have to order off the kids' menu, okay? You're still a kid. And I'd be like, well, not according to my diapers. And if the waiter was there, he'd be like, I'm going to come back later. Okay, I don't know what's going on. I'm going to come back later. I had the older brother. I also had a younger sister. She's the only girl. She was the baby, and she knew how to fake cry. So I was once spanked because she said I was looking at her funny. I was just looking at her. The funny part came because at the time I had these giant buck teeth and my eyes and lips were too big for my face. I got spanked for being ugly. Tough being a middle child. It is. It's tough. It's tough to be a middle child. You got to be extra aware of stranger danger because your parents can't find you if they don't even know you're missing. I eventually got sick of being a middle child. Decided I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna run away. I'm gonna get out of here. So that day, I put on some froggy galoshes. I grabbed some stuffed animals. I put those in my backpack. And I grabbed my driver's license and I got out of there. And my dad tracks me down. And I was like, no, I want a new dad. I want a new dad. Which is something you should never say to your father. If you want a new dad, that is something that you have got to talk to your mom about. She didn't listen. She did not. They're still happily married. I'm getting married myself. I was supposed to get married May 8th, so that's not happening. Yeah, woo! We're eloping. It'll be fun. My fiance, we were going to get married in Arizona, and my fiance, when she went, she's 5'2", and when she went to go check out the venue with her parents, she was mistaken for a 12-year-old 3 times. She was given a children's menu with crayons twice. And TSA told her she didn't have to take her shoes off until she turned 13. And what she says to these people is, excuse me, I have a bachelor's degree. And I don't know why she says that, because now they just think she's an incredibly intelligent 12-year-old. A lot of people think I'm too young to get married. They think I'm too young. Like I was talking to a guy, and he, in the same conversation, said that I looked like I was Mormon, and that I was too young to be married. All in the same conversation. And I was like, if you think that I am too young for a Mormon to get married, just you wait until you meet my 12-year-old fiance. And for for the first part of our relationship, we were pretty much exclusively long distance. And one day she said, "Hey, Sam, I wrote you a letter." I was like, "Oh, yeah?" And she said, "Yeah, but be careful. It's a little spicy." And I was like, "Oh," I was excited. I was excited, but I was a little nervous. I'm from Minnesota, where the spiciest thing we eat is butter. So I was a little nervous. But when I got the letter, I was excited. Couldn't wait to read it. I open it up, pull it out. The entire thing is written in cursive. So I am now a proud cursive reader. I can read cursive like nobody's business now. I have one last story for you all. I don't know if any of you are familiar with Jamie Lynn Spears. Do you all know who Jamie Lynn Spears is?
No.
No, nobody does? No. Perfect. It'll still be fun. I, as a little kid, before I understood sex and sexuality, all that I knew was that I had a crush on Jamie Lynn Spears. She is Britney Spears' little sister. She was on the hit show Zoe 101 in the early 2000s. And one time I was watching the intro and I got up, walked up to the screen, and and it would have been the perfect first kiss, except my older brother had stepped into the doorway. What he said to me was, "Better hope she doesn't get pregnant," and then walks out of the room. A week later, I was watching the news. Jamie Spears actually got pregnant. I was like, "Oh my God, either my brother just pulled the best prank of all time, or I'm a father." So I ran downstairs and I was like, Tyler, Jamie Lynn Spears is pregnant." And he goes, I know. Congratulations. All right, everyone, that's been my time. I know I maybe should change the handshake in that joke. Kind of not appropriate anymore. I don't know. But I've been Sam Ellison. Thank you, Cougar Wolf Comedy, for having this. It's very fun.
Yeah. That was great. Your stories about your. Are you still in the room, Sam?
I'm still here. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Your stories about your brother and peeing and puking and being a bouncer. I mean, that definitely reminded me of living in a frat in college. That's definitely same. We had the same experience.
Yeah, that's not what I did. I didn't go to a frat because I already done all that stuff, you know?
Yeah, there you go. You guys are wussies.
I did that when I was 8.
All right, guys. If you're just tuning in, just so you know, we're starting to do these shows every week. So we have a virtual tip jar. So feel free to donate to us. All the proceeds go to putting on more future shows and then paying comics and stuff so we can get through this tough time and have some great material for you on the other side. So we're super excited. This shows are great. Are you guys ready for the last comedian of the night? All righty. Please keep it going for the Cucumber King, the hilarious Burunji.
Hey! How are you guys? Thanks for having me. I apologize about my hair. Black people, we're having quite an experience right now. We miss our barbers right now. Thanks for welcoming me to your homes. I enjoyed the signs outside. Black Lives Matter, all that crap. Man, this is a weird time. This is the first set I do since mid-March, so I don't even know where to start. I'll just start here. Some things I've learned about Seattle. Seattle is a place for looters. Seattle people like to loot. Every time there's like a snowstorm or anything, people just go to the stores and just take everything. Like I went to the store recently and everything was gone. I was like, whoa, am I in America or am I in Venezuela? I was like, is this Trader Joe's or is this Trader Jose's? And here's why I look out for the looters, because there's something shameful that comes with it. Because my first suspicion was like, oh shit, it's my people again. Because most of the time when you tune in the news, it's black people looting. So I went to the chicken section. All the chicken was gone. I was like, oh my God, we're at it again. I went for the ribs. The ribs were gone. I was like, my people, oh my God, not again. And then I went to the spice section, and all the spices were still there. And I was like, this is for white people. These white people are looting for the first time. That's good. Oh man, it's a weird time, man. I don't know. You guys been shopping like online, like ordering food? Ordering food is weird now. It used to be so easy. You go and sit down. Now everything you have to get everything from the parking lot. Yeah, every food transaction now seems like a drug deal. It's like, meet me in the parking lot. Do not bring anybody. No drugs, right? Like, yeah, I just ordered some fries, not cocaine. You know, drug dealers had it right all along. Yeah, pretty streamlined. Shopping, Amazon packages are late now. What's going on? Now Amazon maybe later, which is weird because I was reading the news and they said that how many people have applied for unemployment is like 20 million. I experienced this too. My paycheck is not coming as often as it should, which is awkward because my packages are still coming in. I was talking to my landlord. He's like, "Yo, where's the rent?" I'm like, "Bro, you heard about the news." But at the time, I had like 6 boxes in front of my door. Shit. That's a hard one to explain. Still like shit, even when I don't have money. Relationships. I saw Jessica. Was it Jessica and Aaron? Yeah, that's the.
Yeah.
Jessica, how are you doing?
Good.
How's the relationship?
It has its ups and downs.
You guys still like each other?
We still like each other.
Okay, let's see how long that goes. No, because I was. A lot of people have been saying that divorce rates are going to go up. Yeah, I think it's. I fear for my relationship. Like. Yeah, I don't know if we're going to make it. Me and my wife, I don't know if we're going to make it. I'll tell you what happened. Here's what happened. She was going to use the shower. She asked me, she was like, "Yo, do you want to use the bathroom before I shower?" And I was like, "Oh, no, you go ahead. I'm good." And then she's like, all right. She goes to shower. She takes these long showers, 30 minutes. 5 minutes into it, I'm like, shit, I got to pee. So I'm not. Baby, can I pee? And then she's like, "Yo, I asked you 5 minutes ago. Did you want to use the bathroom?" You say no, and now you say you want to use the bathroom. I was like, "Yo, I'm sorry. Can I use the bathroom?" And then she's like, "Okay, you can just come in and pee and then go while I'm in the shower." And then I was like, "Actually, it's number 2." This is 5 minutes into her 30-minute shower. But guess what? We're breaking barriers now. So, yeah, I sat down and took a shit in the shower. But here's what happened though, because I expected like a simple dookie, like when you just sit down with one small nugget. My body betrayed me, yo. Right in front of my girl. I'm not kidding. I was kidding really hard. The corn I ate in 1995. Everything was just coming out. I would spread out one leg on the bathroom, other leg on the door, one hand on the back. I'm like an octopus. All that to say, I think he's going to leave me. I'm scared. You guys ever have to go to the CDC website just before you have sex, just to look up guidelines? We have to, you know, we have to, because they were like 6 feet, you know, like we were like, can we even share the same bed? I was like 6 feet. I was like, honey, my dick is not a hose. Like I can't just crank it up, you know, move it from one room to the next room. For those who do not know, Jessica, take notes, and Aaron. Yes, you can have sex. It's okay. You can do it. The guidelines say you can still get, you know, the COVID through kissing, touching, but not through sexual fluids. So, yeah. Anyone listening, you can come inside of her. Oh, it's really fun. The only thing you cannot do is you can't eat ass. Don't eat anyone's butthole until it's okay to go back to work. Yeah, well, that's your guideline right there. Once they lift the curfew, the lockdown, then you can go back. Dude, I was thinking about this. You guys humor me on this, okay? This is kind of weird, but I don't know. I'm married, so, but the single people, I'm curious. Like, this is a weird time to be single. Like, you're stuck at home by yourself. Like, you're not gonna like what's it? Like Wolf was saying, coming is important. You can't go without doing it. So, you know what I think? This is a crazy idea. But I think hooking up sounds so hot right now. Oh, unpopular opinion. Think about it. Like, I guarantee you cannot tell me out of like 200 million people, there are no people sneaking around and fucking. There are. But that's why I think it's hot. It's hooking up right now is like interracial sex in the 60s. You're like, oh, baby, you should not be in this neighborhood right now. Society says you shouldn't do it, but you're doing it anyway. Trust me, we're gonna hear these stories a few months from now. You're gonna hear some sex stories. Like, how did you two meet? It was like, oh, it was 2020. This was when we couldn't be together at the time. A lot of people saying there's gonna be a lot of babies born after this, like 9 months from now. My wife and I talked about it. We're not trying to procreate right now, so we talked about adoption. Yeah, we're gonna adopt a baby. Which is it's a tricky thing for us because we're very different. Like she's American, I'm African, she's white and black. So if we're to adopt, I don't know what to get. So we were talking for a bit, and I told her I'll meet her halfway, which is I want to adopt white babies and send them to Africa. Babies need love too, let's be honest. As I speak right now, there's a white baby sitting in a trailer park thinking, well, fuck Wisconsin. Let's go to Zimbabwe. If I can make it in Wisconsin, I could make it anywhere. I got my tiki, let's go. Oh boy. So we've covered sex. We've covered Amazon. We've covered oh yeah. It's so weird. The CDC, like the guidelines that they're giving for, like the other day, they floated this malaria drug. You know, like they're just throwing out shit. It's like, how about chloroquine? Chloroquine. Let's do chloroquine. How about NyQuil? Let's do NyQuil. I even heard Vicks Vapor Rub. Like, it's like the CDC's headed by an old Italian man. He's like, hey, how about they have some Vicks Vapor Rub? Come to think of it, it is Dr. Fauci. What's his name? Man, things are never going to be the same after this. Sports for sure. Sports is going to be so different because I don't know if you guys remember that commercial, the Gatorade commercial with Michael Jordan. When he's sweating and they're like, oh my God, game 6, whatever, he's sweating. He had all the symptoms of COVID. So that Gatorade commercial is going to be a commercial for NyQuil going forward. You go to any game, instead of shooting out T-shirts, they're going to be shooting out toilet paper. Oh, man. It's gonna be weird. I think that's it. That's all I have. I wish I had more.
Give it up for Brungy. Great set. My favorite part about your set, Brungy, is that like you didn't write jokes. You just talked about what happened to you today. Like you're like, all right, this happened this morning. This happened at lunch. Good shit in the afternoon. Where I had to barricade the door from nobody else in the apartment. Oh, but thank you guys so much for tuning in. Give it up for our hilarious comedians, Ashley Goodermuth, Sam Ellison, Brungy Barungi. This has been such a fun show, and I'm so glad we can continue doing this, even though we're quarantined. If you guys like the show, feel free to donate to our tip jar and stuff, so we can put that toward future shows. And the next week, we're going to have some great comedians lined up. We have some amazing people from LA and then Eastern Washington and Ohio, so we're super excited. Stay tuned for that. Thank you very much, audience members. You guys were awesome. Made this so much fun. Other than that, thanks for tuning in. I'm Derek Wolf. Thank you very much, guys. Night.
See you guys.